a handsome young man is quietly reading a book in a car. Not far away, a beautiful teenage girl is walking to school. However, it's not a romantic encounter. A moment later, the handsome man kidnaps the girl and takes her into his car. He first tries his best to torture and torment her, and then brutally murders her. This handsome man's identity is not simple. He is Kim Kwang-il, the son of a high-ranking North Korean official, a madman with good looks and high intelligence. Kim Kwang-il not only took the girl's life, but also killed her entire family. However, afterward, due to the power of his high-ranking father, the superiors of the North Korean Security Bureau did not arrest Kim Kwang-il. Instead, they dismissed and punished the special agent in charge of the case. 3 years later, Kim Kwang-il moved to South Korea and committed multiple serial murders in various parts of South Korea. All the victims were young women, and the total number of cases reached more than a dozen. Under pressure, the police officer in charge of investigating the case committed suicide. To stop public opinion, the police superiors handed over the case to police officer Chai Yi-do, demanding that he find the murderer at all costs. Chai Yi-do is also a madman. In order to solve the case, he disregards rules and regulations. He ordered his subordinates to only think about catching the culprit, and everything else is not important. Soon, the National Academy of Sciences made a discovery. An eggplant was found inside the body of one of the deceased, and it contained DNA that did not belong to the deceased. Chai Yi-do ordered his subordinates to immediately compare it with the DNA in the database and to arrest the person immediately if a match was found. The comparison results came out soon, showing that it belonged to Kim Kwang-il. Chai Yi-do quickly obtained an arrest warrant and planned to go straight to Kim Kwang-il's hideout in South Korea. Unexpectedly, someone got there first. It was the people from the National Intelligence Service who arrived at Kim Kwang-il's residence first, led by Agent Park Jae-hyuk. However, unlike Chai Yi-do, Park Jae-hyuk's purpose in coming here was not to arrest Kim Kwang-il but to protect him. A few hours ago, Park Jae-hyuk had a secret conversation with his colleagues at the National Intelligence Service. As the son of a high-ranking North Korean official, Kim Kwang-il has access to his father's overseas accounts. He also knows the inside story of North Korean politics for both South Korea and the United States. Such a criminal is simply a VIP guest. With the support of the United States, 3 years ago, Park Jae-hyuk and his colleagues brought Kim Kwang-il to South Korea. They also provided him with political asylum. Both of them were promoted because of this. Now, to safeguard the hard-won interests, colleagues instructed Jae-hyuk not to let Kim Kwang-il be arrested by the police. Therefore, at the moment, Jae-hyuk placed Kim Kwang-il under protective arrest in the name of illegal activities. At this time, Chai Yi-do arrived. Seeing that the National Intelligence Service was competing with him for the suspect, Chai Yi-do refused to give in at all. He firmly pressed down on Park Jae-hyuk's arm to stop him, while presenting the arrest warrant and demanding that the police make the arrest. The two sides were at loggerheads. However, Chai Yi-do's arrest warrant had legal effect. Jae-hyuk could only watch helplessly as Kim Kwang-il was taken away by the police. To prevent Kim Kwang-il from confessing to his crimes, Park Jae-hyuk quickly found him a shrewd lawyer. The lawyer first presented so-called evidence claiming that Kim Kwang-il had an alibi on the day of the crime. Then he took out several photos of the eggplant farm, arguing that the eggplant found in the victim's body was merely picked by Kim Kwang-il from the farm and given to the girl. However, Chai Yi-do was not easily fooled. In fact, from beginning to end, he never mentioned eggplant. Clearly, Kim Kwang-il's lawyer already knew the inside story and had prepared false testimony in advance. Facing police questioning, Kim Kwang-il had a smile on his face the whole time, as if killing was just a game to him. In order to bring the murderer to justice, Chai Yi-do ordered his men to bring all the surveillance footage from Kim Kwang-il's home and office. However, the surveillance footage from both locations had been taken away by the National Intelligence Service. The police had no choice but to retrieve surveillance footage from along the streets and nearby areas, planning to use a needle in a haystack approach to find evidence. At the same time, people from the National Intelligence Service hacked into the police station's office, monitoring Chai Yi-do's every move during the investigation, and planning to counter his moves. The needle in a haystack approach actually yielded results. After working all night, the police found surveillance footage of Kim Kwang-il appearing in Seoul, South Korea on the day of the crime. This was enough to overturn the lawyer's alibi. The police's progress made the National Intelligence Service deeply uneasy. At the same time, their superiors discovered Jae Hyuk's private actions with his colleagues. At this point, Kim Kwang-il was considered an important person by the superiors. They ordered Jae Hyuk to hand him over to the United States as soon as possible. The top priority was for Jae Hyuk to rescue Kim Kwang-il from the police. To achieve this goal, Jae Hyuk visited the top brass of the police department. In order to minimize the international impact of the incident, Jae Hyuk explained his proposal. He had found Kim Kwang-il's accomplice and planned to let the accomplice take the blame. The police top brass and Jae Hyuk hit it off immediately. They brought the accomplice Cha Yi-do as the murderer and demanded Kim Kwang-il's release. However, Cha Yi-do defied the order and instructed his subordinates to keep an eye on Kim Kwang-il. That night, when Officer Chai returned home, he didn't notice that there was someone waiting for him in the darkness. That person was Lee Dae-bum, a special agent from the North Korean Security Bureau, who had been fired for investigating Kim Kwang-il. Lee Dae-bum told Cha Yi-do that because he pursued Kim Kwang-il, his subordinates were wiped out. He himself was seriously injured while narrowly escaping. But now, due to political changes in North Korea, Kim Kwang-il's father's faction has been purged. Therefore, now was the right time to take action against Kim Kwang-il. Lee Dae-bum believed that South Korea would not prosecute Kim Kwang-il. He hoped to hand over the criminal to himself for handling. Before their conversation could end, Cha Yi-do received news that the police top brass had actually bypassed him and joined forces with the National Intelligence Service to transfer Kim Kwang-il. Officer Chai rushed back to the station and clashed with the National Intelligence Service agents who were escorting Kim Kwang-il. Witnessing Cha Yi-do's frustration, Kim Kwang-il sneered once again. He knew very well and was perfectly taking advantage of his VIP status, threatening that Cha Yi-do couldn't touch a hair on his head. In the chaos, the National Intelligence Service agents escorted Kim Kwang-il into the car. On the contrary, Cha Yi-do was photographed by the media making a scene. He was later suspended by his superiors. The police were useless. The criminal was arrogant. What a dark world. The superiors urged them to quickly transfer Kim Kwang-il. However, they didn't expect that Kim Kwang-il's madness seemed to be ingrained in his bones. He even stabbed the female agent of the National Intelligence Service who was in charge of protecting him this time. Jae Hyuk couldn't help but get physical with Kim Kwang-il in a moment of righteous indignation. However, the matter was complicated. After weighing the pros and cons, Jae Hyuk had no choice but to leave angrily. Due to Kim Kwang-il's madness, the National Intelligence Service planned to hand him over to the side early the next morning. The side's person in charge was Paul. For him, he didn't mind Kim Kwang-il's heinous crimes. As long as he could provide corresponding value, Kim Kwang-il clearly replied to Paul that he kept all the secrets about his father's overseas bank accounts in his head. If the US wanted to get the money and the political intelligence about North Korea, they had to provide him with asylum. Paul agreed to the deal. He immediately uncuffed Kim Kwang-il and planned to escort him to the United States. Unexpectedly, at this time, Cha Yi-do arrived with another arrest warrant, aggressively leading his team. Just yesterday, Lee Dae-bum called Cha Yi-do, saying that he still had a trump card that could arrest Kim Kwang-il. Earlier, Kim Kwang-il had stayed in Hong Kong for a short time. During that time, he committed 2 crimes and later sold the videos of the female victims to relevant personnel. One of the victims was a South Korean living in Hong Kong. Lee Dae-bum claimed that the video clearly showed Kim Kwang-il's face, which was ironclad evidence of his crime. Cha Yi-do immediately went to the police station's archives to search and indeed found the case. Later, on a certain website, he found and confirmed the video mentioned by Lee Dae-bum. This discovery was enough to turn the situation around. At this moment, Cha Yi-do first played the video of Kim Kwang-il's crime in front of the National Intelligence Service agents. Then, he took out the handcuffs and once again arrested the murderer in front of him. Kim Kwang-il still had a sneer on his face, but Cha Yi-do found a way to break the murderer's psychological defense. He directly said that Kim Kwang-il liked to stuff various things into the bodies of his female victims. It was because he was impotent. Sure enough, this exposed Kim Kwang-il's secret. This murderer finally took off his mask and went berserk. Paul knew that Lee Dae-bum was behind this, so he reminded Jae Hyuk that Lee Dae-bum was North Korea's Cha Yi-do. Both of them were Kim Kwang-il's nemesis. On the way back while escorting Kim Kwang-il, the superiors called again, asking them to disband the investigation team and close the case. Helpless, Cha Yi-do asked his brothers who participated in the search to disband on the spot. He planned to escort Kim Kwang-il to court alone. But unexpectedly, the prosecutor he was friends with was not going to get involved in this matter either. Seeing Officer Che's predicament, Kim Kwang-il started humming a song gloatingly. Jae-hyuk came to Chae-do, hoping to persuade the officer to hand Kim Kwang-il over to the United States. At least from now on, there will be one less serial killer in South Korea. Although reluctant, Chae-do eventually listened to Jae-hyuk's opinion. He handed the key to unlock the handcuffs to him. Kim Kwang-il regained his freedom. But no one expected that this murderer would actually take the opportunity to snatch the American's gun. Then he walked straight towards Officer Chai. With a few gunshots, Chae-do fell to the ground. However, Kim Kwang-il showed a smug smile. The officer's injury completely ignited Jae-hyuk's sense of justice. He immediately stepped on the gas pedal and chased after the prison van. Unexpectedly, on the way, another car suddenly rushed straight towards them. Kim Kwang-il's car flipped over, and the person who got out of the other car was none other than this high-ranking official's son's second nemesis, Lee Dae-bum. After knocking Kim Kwang-il unconscious, Lee Dae-bum dragged him into his car despite being stopped. Out of a sense of shared hatred, Jae-hyuk chose to let the ghost-like North Korean agent go. He did not order the port to be blocked afterwards either. The superiors were very satisfied. Anyway, South Korea had completed the handover task. Let the aside clean up the mess. Lee Dae-bum took Kim Kwang-il to a ship, planning to return to North Korea and let the murderer be tried. However, the political situation was unpredictable. In North Korea, the supreme leader died. The second-in-command took control of the government. Kim Kwang-il's father was able to make a comeback. With his father's power, Kim Kwang-il could continue to do evil. At this moment, on the ship, Lee Dae-bum was comforting the souls of the girls who had been victimized. Unexpectedly, Kim Kwang-il had changed into a fur coat and was holding a gun. He caught his nemesis off guard and eliminated him. With one nemesis dead and the other injured, Kim Kwang-il continued to be at large. Until a few years later, Jae-hyuk went to Hong Kong to meet Paul. In the past few years, Kim Kwang-il's father had once again lost power in the power struggle. In order to obtain the account assets and North Korean intelligence that Kim Kwang-il possessed, Paul cooperated with Jae-hyuk. He had the latter kill Kim Kwang-il's men and then invited the high-ranking official's son to the American's car. After getting the gun from Paul, Jae-hyuk walked straight towards the hotel opposite him. Kim Kwang-il was hiding there. In the dark night, Jae-hyuk silently and swiftly eliminated one enemy after another. Finally, he arrived in front of his target, Kim Kwang-il. Having lost his father's political backing, Kim Kwang-il knew that he could no longer get any benefits from South Korea or the United States. Therefore, the cunning Kim Kwang-il offered to make a deal with the Americans. He planned to exchange the intelligence in his hands for freedom. Unexpectedly, Jae-hyuk attacked the murderer again and again with the gun in his hand. He didn't care what the United States wanted. What he wanted was for Kim Kwang-il to atone for his sins with death. Kim Kwang-il was still clamoring, but Jae-hyuk showed no mercy. In the end, he fired a fatal shot at the murderer. After killing Kim Kwang-il, Jae-hyuk cut off his head and gave it to Paul. The night was still pitch black. However, justice was like the dawn before dawn, and it would eventually pierce through the darkness. The movie ends here. That's all for today. Welcome to like, comment, and follow my channel to watch interesting movies.